Hey everyone, it's Ron Milligan with RE/MAX Select here in Portland's Pearl District, and what I have for you today are some really cool graphs to put things in context. So in a lot of the market analyses that I do, we're comparing this month to the same month last year. Maybe we're comparing the first 4 or 5, 6 months of this year to the first 4 or 5 or 6 months of last year. Maybe we're comparing this week to this, or the most recent week to the same week or roughly the same time period last year. So you know, a lot of the comparisons we're doing are to last year, which was a bonkers year for real estate and not a very good indicator of what normal is for real estate in the Portland metro area. So what I thought I would do is I'd take our most recent market action, which comes out from RMLS, and that what we have right now is for the month of May. June will come out probably in around 3 weeks or so. But for now, we've got the May numbers, and I went back and I created several graphs going back 10 years for May of each year, going back to 2012, which was pretty much the bottom of our market, just to give us an idea of what a normal market would look like. Where are we right now? Let's not compare it to the white hot market, the bonkers market of last year. Let's compare our numbers to what we've been seeing in the last 10 years, more normal markets. So we'll start with inventory in months, which is a measure of both buyer demand and inventory of available homes to purchase. So it's a supply and demand equation there. The way we look at this is, given no new listings, at the current rate of sales, how long would it take to sell everything that's currently available for purchase on the market? So right now, as of May, that number was 1 month of inventory. That number's definitely gone up since then. I don't know what it's going to be until, we probably won't know what it's going to be until after the market analysis comes out from RMLS. Like I said, in 3 weeks. But right now is 1 month of inventory. We compare that to last year, 0.7 months of inventory, super low. The year before, 2020, 2.3 months of inventory, but keep in mind that in May of 2020, people were just figuring out, a lot of agents were only just figuring out that we were going to have a bonkers market for the balance of 2020 after a big slump in April and May. So we're just starting to come out of a big slump and a crazy freak out that caused our market to slow down for a couple of months. 2019, 2.1 months of inventory, 18, 1.9, 17, 1.5, 1.4, 1.7, 2014, 2.8, 2013, 2.5, and in May of 2012, 4.2 months of inventory. So normally, like a balanced market used to be traditionally 6 months of inventory. Those are numbers that we were seeing before the mortgage meltdown, and at one point we saw numbers as high as 19 months of inventory after the mortgage meltdown took over. So 4.2 months of inventory is more towards the seller's advantage market. Some analysts have changed their minds and said, okay, 6 months of inventory, that's a kind of an old figure. It's probably closer to 4 months of inventory as a balanced market, neither a buyer's nor seller's market. And I've been hearing some say as low as 3 months of inventory would be a balanced market, neither side having the advantage. So we still have a long way to go with our inventory in months before we hit a balanced market or even cross over into buyer's market territory. If we look at days on market, right now we were at 18 for the Portland metro area for the month of May. And you can follow this graph going all the way back. This graph goes back to May of 2009 when we had 147 days, average days on market. Some were taking longer. Of course, we were still doing short sales back then, which took a very long time. So, look at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 67 days, 55 days, 37 days, 39 days, 37 days, 48 days, 18 days on market. That's still really, really fast compared to a more normal or a more centric market than what we've been experiencing recently. The next one that I have for you here is the average sale price. So what this is the increase in the average sale price, and this is the year over year. So for the month of May, we're comparing the first 5 months of any given year to the previous year first 5 months. So we're comparing, it's a larger sample, 5 months, for example, of 2021 compared to first 5 months of 2022. Average sale price, what was the difference in the average sale price? How much did that increase or decrease in any given year? So you can see in May, we're at 11.2% appreciation of 2022. In 21, that was insane. It was 18.9% appreciation. In 2020, that was down at 2.8% appreciation. In 2019, 0.9. 18 was 5.9. 17, 10.7. 16, 11.9. 15 was 4.6. And then we have 9.1, 14.9 in 2013, and then in 2012, 1.1 months of appreciation. So we're still doing really well, even compared to some, aggressive seller's advantage markets. If we're looking at 14, 15, 16, 17, that's the gravy train after we hit the bottom of the market. So those numbers are pretty strong. And then when we hit 18, that was maybe going back to more of a normal Portland market where we might expect to see, 3 to 6% appreciation versus the previous year. So the next one I have up is for new pending transactions. So this is a measure of buyer demand. How aggressive were buyers? How many new transactions did we have? Going back to 2012, 25, 22, about 3,000, 3,000, 3,500, 3,500, 2017, 34, 35, 18, 3,200, 19, 3,300, 3,120. In 21, of course, the crazy year, the outlier, 3717, and in May, 3122. So we definitely saw less activity this year than we've seen in a number of years, but it's pretty much in the ballpark. It's pretty close to where we need to be, given the low inventory that we have this year. Of course, it's more than last year, but the inventory is a lot lower than any other given year up to that, at least that we measured in my graphs here. It's not surprising that we didn't have that many transactions, and of course, interest rates played a really big part in that. If interest rates hadn't risen, the demand still would have been driven crazy, probably worse than last year. At least that's what we're experiencing in the beginning of the year until interest rates started going up and the Fed made their big announcement in the middle of March. Seller activity, supply, how many new listings did we get in any given year? You look at this graph here in those more normal feeling years, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The new listings, the number of new listings that hit the market in May, 4192, 4161, 4144, 4388, 4665, and then 4902 in 2019. Compare that to 2020, which was still kind of a suppressed number because of the virus. 21, anything that was hitting the market was disappearing, so that's 3971. And in May, we only had 3853, and that's below what we normally see for the month of May for new listings. The last thing that I had was the average number of listings. So for this one, I went all the way back to 2011. For May in 2011, we had 11,825 listings. And then you can see from this chart, it starts to just kind of gradually go down, 87, 68, 68, 51, 4,000, 4,300, 4,400, then up in 19. Interest rates did go up in 19. The number is 6182. 20 was 5551 last year, 2339 this year, 2782. So for our supply of active listings, we still have quite a ways to go. I did check just before I did this video what the current number of active listings is for the Portland Metro Oregon side only, which is what RMLS does. They divide it out between Oregon and Washington. So these numbers are going to be different than the numbers that we pull weekly because we use a different sampling that includes Washington as part of the greater metro area, so Vancouver and Southwest Washington. So that number is 3969. So that's still lower than what we had in 2020 and pretty much any given year before that month of May. So of course, we'll keep an eye on this. We'll let you know what happens this in June and what it looks like, compared to the previous years. So that gives you a little more context, but we still have a long way to go before we get to numbers that feel more like a normal market for the Portland metro area. We may get there, and we may get there faster than we expect. I suspect that we're going to have inventory in months in the 2s by the end of the summer, maybe even for June. I suspect July is going to have numbers in the 2s, but we of course won't know that until we get the full month of July numbers in August when they come out and they get released by RMLS. So as always, in the interim, I'll keep you informed and apprised of any developments that we see on the market. And as always, give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. If you know someone who might need a little more context, feel free to share this video with them. And then if you have some ideas or thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, throw them in the comments down below. I always read them and respond as needed. Okay, we'll see you next month.